Our second lesson is selected verses from Psalm 37. Oh, do not fret because of evil doers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as a green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and feed on His faithfulness. Delight yourselves also in the Lord, and He shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord and trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. He shall bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as noonday. Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently on Him. Do not fret because of those who prosper in their way, because of the person who brings wicked schemes to pass. Cease from anger, forsake wrath. Do not fret, it only causes harm. Evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be no more. Indeed, you will look carefully for them in their place, and you shall not find them. For the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. And our third lesson is from the work Arcana Celestia, number 6481. People, spirits, coming into the other life, bring with them the opinion that the divine providence is universal, but not in singular things. The cause of them having this opinion has been that they have seen evil people exalted to honors and become rich and crowned with success, which those people ascribe to their own prudence and their own wisdom, not knowing that the divine providence has for its end the eternal salvation of everyone, thus not their good fortune in this world, namely opulence and eminence, whereby people in this world think that these things shall make them happy, and that happiness itself consists in such things. And yet, it is far from being so. For eminence usually just begets more of a love of self, and opulence more of a love for the world, and thus they are contrary to the love of God and charity towards the neighbor. Therefore, such things are, in fact, given to the evil and also to the good, but if they're not suitable, and they do not withdraw people from heaven, therefore the good may receive them. Moreover, the Lord provides for His ends through evil equally as well as through good. For the Lord moves the evil through their very own loves to do what is good to the neighbor and to their country and to the church. For the evil desire eminence, and they desire their own advantage. And for the sake of these things, they desire to be seen as upright and zealous. And from this desire, as if from a fire, they are more strongly motivated, oftentimes, to do such things than the well-disposed people are. It is also permitted to evil to believe that all things are of their own wisdom, and that there is no such thing as divine providence, and that it is only a universal thing, and not in particulars. They are not willing to perceive anything other, and in order that they may perform such things as are conducive to the public good, successes are also given them in accordance with their projects, which successes are greater increments for them, in fact, to ascribe doing good to themselves and not to the Lord. It said the disciples came to the Lord privately after the man who brought his lunatic or his sick son to the disciples to be healed. And the disciples said, "Why could we not cast that evil spirit out?" And Jesus said, "Because of your unbelief. I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed," there it is, "you can say to this mountain, be removed, and it will move, for nothing shall be impossible to you." Think of it, having the faith as small as a mustard seed. Nothing shall be impossible to you. Now, this isn't about having the treasures of your heart in terms of worldly things. The Lord really isn't interested in you becoming rich. However, we're told, as in that lesson, that people who want to be rich, the Lord will use their self-centered motivation to be considered really great because they have a lot of money. They'll use that motivation, the Lord will use that motivation to get good things done. Well, the Lord doesn't want us to twist that around to think, well, then I should go after money because the Lord will use me to do good things. No, the Lord does a lot better things with people who actually have the motivation to be given the desires of their heart, as it says in Psalm 37. Trust in the Lord and do good. He will give you the desires of your heart. He'll both give you the things that you want, but He'll also give you to want certain things. He'll give you the desires of your heart. An important quality of that psalm and that statement. The Lord gives us to want certain things. If we have the faith as if like a mustard seed, very tiny, the Lord will grow that desire for what is good. And the mountain of self-centeredness and the mountain of desire to be rich, famous, powerful, that mountain will diminish and move further and further from the center of our focus, because the Lord will replace that with Himself and the desires of our heart that are our own. The Lord had taken 3 of His disciples, Peter, James, and John, up onto a mountain, earlier in this reference in the Gospel of Matthew. And He showed him His own divine nature. The glorification took place. It said His face shone like the sun. He was transfigured. They saw also with Him Moses and Elijah. And they wanted to build some tabernacles, some little tents, a little worship center for Jesus and Moses and Elijah, these great men. And then Moses and Elijah disappeared, and a voice was heard, "This is my son, hear ye him." So they came down from that mountain. These 3 disciples had this vision on the mountaintop. The other disciples had this problem down in the valley. It's one story. It's one story. We have the vision on the mountaintop of what the Lord can do for us, who the Lord really is, that the Lord can shine powerfully, as powerful as anything we have from our childhood. Any Moses, any historical figures, any powerful heroes of our childhood, the Lord can shine like that. The Lord can do miraculous things. Elijah raised people from the dead. Now, Moses did a lot of miracles too, but he was the prophet known for the miracles that he had done and the power he had. Great power. These powerful things from our youth are combined with what the Lord gives us in the present. Peter, James, and John represent what we have presently in our faith, in our charity, and in our extension to other people. We go up to the mountain, we receive a vision that combines everything we know that is good. At the same time, while on earth, as it were, or down in the valley of the shadows of our life, a lot of things happen that seem to be out of our control and unable to be touched by our faith. It's one story. The Lord is one with us at all times. He's with us in the big mountaintop experiences that we have. He's with us in every little problem we're experiencing as well. And evil spirits are what like to infuse doubt into our thinking about our ability to overcome the things that hit us on a daily basis. So the disciples, so we ourselves can say, Lord, why can't I conquer this? Why can't you take care of this? Take this thing away from me, this desire to be self-centered or my negative attitude. Lord, help me. The disciples came to the Lord and said, why couldn't we cast out that negative spirit? Why couldn't we cast out that evil spirit in this child? Negativity, evil, false thoughts come to us like woodpeckers on the side of the church. They might stay for a while, eventually they'll leave. Like birds that come into our backyard. If we have many bird feeders, they'll keep coming. If we shoo them away and stop feeding them, they won't come in so often. We need to have faith, like the faith of a mustard seed. We need to have just a tiny bit of faith to say to ourselves, the Lord will be with us and will be with us in these small things. And we recognize when evil spirits are speaking, as it were, with us, they use our own voice. They use things from the past that have defeated us and reminded us of our failures. One of the most wonderful things about the gift of the second coming, the teachings of the new church, are all the experiences of evil spirits that Swedenborg recorded. He did so in the Lord's providence as the revelator of the second advent, so the Lord could speak to us about all the different ways evil spirits approach us and all the different ways they take advantage of us. So there's barely any set of circumstances that we're going to experience in our lives that we can't somehow, if we look at the teachings found in the writings, we won't find something there that parallels that. We're not going to go through any set of struggles, falsities, and evils that the Lord didn't go through himself while on earth, and which the Lord didn't describe in the teachings of the second coming. We have to search. We have to mine. We have to be spiritual miners, dig down deeply into the teachings of the Word to find a lot of precious gems that are there if we search for them, that will tell us things about ourselves that the Lord has written years ago. And when we're ready to hear it, we will be able to see these things apply to us. Overall, the universal statement in the writings of the new church is that we need to have a positive attitude. Without a positive attitude towards the teachings of the Word, towards the Lord's universal and particular providence, towards the things that are said about our own nature, without a positive attitude, we'll enter into negativity, the other side. And when the evil spirits who are with us feel or sense that negativity, they start talking to us in our own voice about the reasons why this doesn't apply to us and that doesn't apply to us. And they throw us into the fire and they throw us into the water. The fire, they throw us into a sense of, well, I can handle this on my own. I don't think I really need the Lord's Word or the teachings that are already there. Yeah, I've got enough power, I've got enough energy. I can do it on my own. And there's lots of little mottos out in the world that encourage us to, just follow your heart. Well, in one sense that can be good, but you can follow your heart into the darkest of hells. As a matter of fact, every devil in hell followed their heart. So if you hear that voice coming to you, it's like, well, yeah, follow your heart, but are you listening to the Lord's Word when it comes to where you're going as you follow your heart? Because, in fact, if we could simply just follow our hearts, we wouldn't need the Word, would we? We think, well, the people, if we're innocent like the people of the most ancient church, they followed their heart. No, in fact, they had constant revelation coming from the Lord outside of themselves, and their best gift from the Lord was to be able to tell what came from the Lord and what came from their own heart. The things that came from their own heart, they said, well, no. Things that come from the Lord, they said, yeah. They had that celestial perception. No, the people of the most ancient church, or ancient church, the Christian church, genuine people in the new church, don't just follow their heart. We can easily then be thrown into the fire of just following the heat of our own desires. And thrown into the water. And now water generally represents good truth, but the flooding water that Noah experienced, or the people of the most ancient church experienced with their fall, is the flooding of falsities. And they go together, falling into the fire and falling into the water. So this lunatic child that came before the Lord represents an aspect of ourselves. We have a mountaintop experience when we see the Lord and the Lord reveals to us new things about himself. Something begins to shine better. And as mentioned, when the Lord was seen in the Transfiguration, he was seen with these two heroes of the disciples of their faith. And that wasn't for no good reason, right? It was for a really good reason, to represent that the Word has come to us in various forms as we've grown up. We don't need to throw them out. We don't need to get rid of them. It's really good to rely upon the sense we have of the Lord's trust when we were very young. The leadership of Moses, taking us through the desert. And also when things are more established in our slightly older teenage or adolescent, youthful years, the Lord performs miracles of giving us powerful loves, like Elijah. The Lord is saying, I'm in this and with this, and then those two fade away and there's just the Lord. Our love for divine things will develop through Moses' states, through Elijah's states, to a state where we can truly understand and truly have faith in the divine human of the Lord. Why couldn't the disciples cast out that evil spirit? Why can't we always conquer every evil and falsity whenever we first see it? Because we don't live on top of a mountain all the time. We live in the daily, in and out life of interaction with people, the things that stimulate our natural, things that lead us and draw us back into things that are self-centered and negative. Evil spirits love to work with that negativity. And it's hard for us to cast them out. The evil spirits are represented in that lunatic child throwing himself into the fire and in the water. When the Lord gives you a good desire of the heart, a good thought, when somebody suggests to you a good idea, we have to assess whether or not we can actually accomplish what has come to us. The first thing our evil spirits want us to believe and will tell us in our own mind is A, you're way too busy to do that, or B, somebody else should do it, or C, that you're really going to fail if you try to accomplish that. And don't we find that when we have a habit we wish to quit? Well, you've tried quitting a million times. Well, you're not really good at that. Whenever you get a little bit stressed, then you go right back to it. The Lord can give us the power to overcome any bad habit. Whether it's a natural bad habit related to our body, or whether it's a spiritual bad habit related to our interactions with others. It's very easy for us to initially think negative things about new people that we meet. They're different than us. We don't know them. We probably shouldn't trust them. Who knows where they've been? Who knows what they really believe? It's very easy for us to have a negative spirit towards other people that are strangers. We want to be careful about people that approach us and who we approach, but also the hells would love us never to make another new friendship. Because each of our good and genuine friendships connects us with the angels that are with other people. Evil spirits hate when you strengthen a network of powerful new connections. And so they throw doubts into our mind, and we can come into the habit of thinking, I know enough people, I have enough relationships, these people aren't in the church, or these people don't live close to me, or these people look different than I do, or they speak a language with an accent or something. Evil spirits love throwing in some ideas that'll get us to stop trying to make new connections. It can happen to us individually, it can happen to us as a congregation or a group. Any group has that same tendency to want to protect themselves, see themselves as more important than other groups or other cultures or other communities. Evil spirits love to come to us and tell us, don't bother. You're good enough the way you are. If we have faith as a mustard seed, if we just keep trying to be positive, the Lord will increase our positivity. The mustard seed, so very, very tiny. And it's like the way the Lord implants those things in us that we can't see, and we have no sense of them being implanted. What we call remains in the new church. Remnants of what is good that the Lord gives to us without us knowing. Thank the Lord that He's always operating secretly. His providence operates secretly. The Lord is doing good things for us all the time that we never have any sense happening and we never see it. We need to trust that providence. We need to trust that the Lord's in small things and great things. And when we look out and see, as it says in the right, that passage for the lesson, We look at other people being successful. We get jealous, or we think, well, they'll get their comeuppance at some time or other. The Lord wants us to recognize good is done by everybody, evil and good, and that we ourselves need to just mind our own side of the street. Keep track of what we can do that's spiritually good. Not allow the evil to entertain thoughts in our minds, sounding like our own voice, that other people are less worthy than us, or other people are more evil than us. But just allow us to listen to the Lord, providing for us to do what's right, and for us to do what's good, to give us those small mustard seeds of faith that will grow and grow under the Lord's providence, for it operates in the greatest things, but also in the smallest of small things. If you have faith as a mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain of self-centeredness, be removed, and it shall disappear. For with God, nothing is impossible. Amen.